Welcome, and good morning. It is the Reach Podcast Show with your host, LeVar Ellis. We appreciate you guys tuning in. We are going to come in live and join you on the screen. We appreciate everybody being here, whether you're on Facebook, YouTube, or Instagram. You guys are all part of the Reach Podcast Show family, and we appreciate you guys tuning in for another episode. And just want to thank you guys for being here. We did not promote this show because we're just doing something a little bit different today. I have a great individual here. So many different facets. Community service partner, co-host on our other show, good friend, co-worker here at Brown Sugar Cafe and Book. Like the list goes on and on. So welcome to the show.
Hi, everybody.
Appreciate you being here. And
glad to be here again.
Absolutely. So for those who do not know who this young lady is, her name is Rashida Perrine, and she is also Dr. P. She is also AKA Tiye Love. And so this is who she is today. And we want to tell a follow-up to her story. And I just have to tell her, put that phone up. Now,
all I'm trying to do is
pulling up
share.
some stuff. I'm
trying
just
to
messing
share
with you. So, AKA Tiye Love, man. So we appreciate you being here, giving us the updates of everything you've been doing. And welcome to the Reach Podcast Show again.
Yay.
So thank you. So also, are you on Instagram? What is the page you want them following on Instagram?
I am at Tiye28.
At Tiye28.
At Tiye28 always is my IG tag. So you can always follow on that. On
Absolutely.
Facebook, I'm just Tiye Love.
Absolutely. So Tiye Love and Tiye28 always is how you can find her on social media. And we'll put that up on the screen here in just a little bit. But as you guys know, we definitely have some announcements. We definitely have some companies that we want to talk about. There's some events that has happened here just over the past. Just here really quickly, some things that's been going on. And, we like to recognize our show sponsors and talk about those people. Number one, we're going to start with just some things that happened over the weekend and some events that happened over the weekend. The weekend and this week. So I'm going to start with what we did over this last Tuesday. And just like to say, shout out to my brothers who showed up, showed out, and came out for our King Conversations, which is just a platform for men to be open, honest, and vulnerable about some different things that we're dealing with. And I just want to say shout out to them. Number one, I have to definitely give a huge shout out to my boy Spivey. If you don't know about Eric Spivey and Spivey's Uptown, there's some things that this place has been dealing with and going through. So we couldn't have picked a better place to sit down and come together as brothers. So huge shout out to my boy Eric Spivey and all the things that he's doing over there. And we got your back, brother, just with everything we've been talking about. And what he allowed us to do was have a King Conversation and let that place be the platform for us kicking off, having these conversations. And when I say we had over 20 plus men come out and stop by, wishing that they can stay and be part of the conversation. But just the fact that you took the time out of your schedule to show up is the biggest part of it to me. And so just want to say thanks to all the fellas who came and just engaged in that conversation. I want to put up a quick photo of all the fellas that was there, man. There's so many people and so many businesses and intelligent young brothers that are also just dealing with the day-to-day issues, So if I start trying to name everybody, then somebody might get mad. So, man, I'm going to just say thank you all for coming out. And, again, big shout-out to Eric Spivey for all the things that you're doing over there. And as part of that platform, man, I definitely have to say a huge shout-out to WBP Radio and my boy Tibbs for allowing this radio station to be a positive airwave in the society for our kids and just for us as adults. Because when you get into music, the big part about it is it's a subconscious thing. And so if you don't recognize the influence that music has on you, then you definitely want to take a look at this radio station, positive hip hop and gospel music as well. WBP Radio, We Break Purpose Radio, and they're all over your airways. So go ahead and download it, whether you're on iPhone or Android. You can get it from the Play Store or the Google Store. It's definitely a radio station that you want to get tuned in, and I promise you won't be mad at your kids for listening to that radio station. So definitely something you want to get involved in. So now as it relates to the place that we're at, man, we got to shout out to Brown Sugar Cafe and Books, man. If you follow the last couple of shows, then you know this room we're in right now is the place that we're going to be having more podcasts. Another platform will be launching soon, and you want to definitely come out and be part of it. So if you have a podcast of your own and you need a space, you can holler at me, send me an inbox, DM me, or whatever the case may be, or send messages to Brown Sugar Cafe and Books. And we have all the information right there on the screen. You can go to the website, or you can actually speak to myself, LeVar Ellis, let them know that you want to host a podcast, and there's some things that you'd like to get involved with here, so we can provide the space and everything that you need to get set up for your event. So with that being said, there's some things that have happened here. A huge shout out to all the mothers who came this past Sunday for the Mother's Day. You guys were amazing. It was an amazing time. We had a good time, a lot of happy faces.
Yeah.
I'll let you speak on that a little bit too, because you were definitely in the place. What did you get as a mother and as a female, seeing all those beautiful ladies that was here?
Oh, no,
Give your recap.
Yes, it was a real beautiful event. As soon as Raven White, the sole owner of Brown Sugar, told me about the tea, I just happened to be talking to my mom. I was like, she's going to do a Mother's Day tea. I am flying. She literally, Mom, I'm getting a ticket. I'm coming. I'm like, wait, I didn't say I was going. But just the idea of something different on Mother's Day, my mother was really excited, and she came, flew. And so it was a good moment for our family just because, we hadn't seen my mom in months. It's a holiday. So it was good to see her. And then she enjoyed herself. The vibe was just popping. The food was good. Just like to see all the beautiful women celebrating themselves and their mothers, and it really was. It was a good event, and I wish y'all were there.
Yeah, we had a little storytelling, talking about the mothers and stuff.
See, that's
like
why I don't like talking about that, because then that's when I cried. So I don't like talking about that.
And due to time, I was getting ready to talk about you, but time did not permit. You got off good.
Oh my God, yes, because I would have been crying. It was nothing. I was probably talking about his mom in front of everybody. So I was
Mama.
I don't need to do any more crying. I cried. My sister went and spoke about my mom, and I was like, I'm not about to get up there because y'all wouldn't understand nothing I said. You'd have been like, what is she talking about? I can't hear. So, but it was, that was like the I guess the epitome of the night, or the evening, I should say, was the storytelling when people got up and talked about, how much their mothers meant to them, or if their daughters were mothers, and some mothers talked about their daughters and their role as mothers. So it really was, it was a beautiful moment.
Absolutely.
And we all looked sharp. Including the brothers to my left. Down on my right and left. Everybody. Yes.
Yeah, it was definitely a good time. So with that being said, it's so funny. We're always cracking jokes, so I'm going to leave the joke alone. But I'm going to just say for the fellas, we're doing it for Father's Day. It's the same type of vibe. I need you guys to show up and show out, come clean and dapper. We're still finalizing some things that we're going to do when it relates to Father's Day. But again, happy Mother's Day and happy belated Mother's Day to anybody who hadn't heard me say that already.
Yes.
So we appreciate you guys for showing up on this past Sunday. So just a couple things really quick over here at Brown Sugar Cafe and Books. Just want to put up how you can find us again. The website, the Instagram, and all of that is on the screen, as well as the physical address. But upcoming, some things you can look forward to is every Wednesday. There's Wellness Wednesday. Again, you want to go to the website and find out when those events will be happening. They had another great episode last night. It was 7 to 9, 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. So ladies, if you're trying to get your wellness on, come out and do some yoga, have conversations and things like that. Every Wednesday, they're looking to do it.
Was it doing a day too?
That's why I say follow the website, because last time they did it before we opened, and this time they did it after we opened. Okay. So not really sure how they're going to keep it going, but we do know it's Women's Wellness Wednesday on every Wednesday. Just stay in touch for the actual times, as I'm assuming that it'll change from time to time.
And join the newsletter.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
Then you'll know about everything that's happening.
Absolutely. Go to that website and get registered for that. Another thing I'd like to announce is, man, big shouts out to Raven for being able to host a interview or conversation with Miss Tamika Scott.
Yes.
That is going to be on May 28th. As you can see on the flyer, it's going to be hosted by the Book Joint, Beyond Barcodes Bookstore, and Brown Sugar Cafe and Books. As you can see, it's moderated by Raven White, our sister. Raven. Absolutely, Houston's own, Katie's own, and also Chicago's own. She's doing some major things.
Tamika Scott of Escape, for those who don't know, she has a wonderful cookbook. I heard on the radio the other day, and I can't wait because I'm going to be a part of the process. So I can't wait.
Absolutely, absolutely. So look forward to that event. It's going to be an amazing time. She's excited about it. So again, we'll put that up here on the screen in case you missed out on the flyer. But this is a dope event that our sister is definitely looking forward to. So we want to make sure you guys are part of it in any shape, form, or fashion that you can. And just stay tuned for that. Again, go get registered on the website and sign up for the newsletter. So that way you can be part of the event. Shout out to my brother G Jack, man, Greg Jackson. What's going on, bro? I see you putting your comment on the screen. I'm gonna have to get to it. And my brother says, say, bro, need you to help find Texas Gator Skins in a building out there. We are definitely gonna find a location. We've been talking about it. This is my brother from another mother, and he has an amazing restaurant called Tater Skins out in Shreveport. And make some amazing dishes. Okay. Yeah, my man's out of Shreveport. Okay. And so he's looking to do some things and move and franchise and branch out and come down here to Houston. That'll be another thing that I'm part of because, when it comes to my people, I'm definitely going to support. So I'll be a restaurant owner soon. Big shout out to you, Jack, man. So can't wait for you to get down here, man. But I'm definitely going to get with you so we can find that building and get that process to happen very fast. So, again, shouts out to Brown Sugar Books and Cafe for the hosting of the event with Tamika Scott. That's going to be May 28th. So also, shouts out to our brother, man, and this is where we get involved with the whole mental health and wellness. Our brother Snader. Again, this is going to be at Brown Sugar Cafe and Books. It is our first Brown Sugar art market. He is the art curator over here at Brown Sugar. All the amazing art that you've been seeing posted on the walls. Dr. P, myself, and our brother, Dr. David Manning, will be part of this. Yeah. We can't even say the David. We're going to say the Dr. David Manning. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So we're going to be part of that. We're going to bring some mental health and wellness to that event. It's going to be a great time. It's just an art gallery market. We're starting some new things. It's another amazing thing that's happening over here. So if you're a vendor, we'll put the same flyer up, but with the details. So we're calling our artists. We also call inventors, vendors. So if you're a creative, a painter, or a designer, here's the flyer for you. Catch that information. The website is there. Or maybe you can just call the store, but find out from our boy Snader George. He is having a dope event. It's going to be May 21st from 10 to 3, as you see on the flyer right there. So we can't wait to have those discussions with you. As the Mind Matters host, we're going to be there. We're going to be present. We're going to have like a little mini seminar, I guess we call it. And we're going to talk about some things as it relates to mental health.
Just some depression, screening, anxiety, even, possibly some dementia. Just people want to know where they fall, where they stand.
Yes.
So definitely it's a good day to come out.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Come be part of the festivities. And big shouts out to our boy, Snader George. I want to put this back up one more time for him being the curator of this event. And we're looking to have a good time. So again, May 21st, 10 to 3 p.m. And just come and check out the amazing things that we're doing over here at Brown Sugar Cafe and Books, man. And y'all come be part of it. And we can't wait for you guys to just indulge in the conversations that we're going to have and be a part of that. And like I said, as the co-host of the Mind Matters podcast, we will be in the building. And we'll have an announcement about the Mind Matters podcast and further information on that here in just a minute. But without further ado, ma'am, again, welcome to the show. If you guys, again, if you're just tuning in, whether you're on Instagram, Facebook, or IG, I definitely want to pay homage to this young lady that's sitting next to me. She is an amazing individual, and I'm going to just kind of I guess, stretch her in a way that she knows that I can. And we want to update about what she's been doing, Dr. P, Ty Love, and just some amazing things that's been going on. But as you guys can see from the flyer that's up on the screen, she is a romance author. And her name is Ty Love. When I met her, she was Dr. P. Or actually, she was just Rashida because I didn't know what she did for the longest. You know, we're volunteers, part of the same organization. Shouts out to WYF. You know, doing the amazing things that we do there. And then come to find out she's a licensed psychologist for the last 20 plus years. And at the same time, she's an amazing author, you know, and doing some awesome things. And it just amazed me. And so when she started talking about what she does and being an author at the time, 25 plus books, I was like, girl, why you ain't talking about that? You know, this is what you need to be talking about. And I think I might just leave that little shot up there. It separates us perfectly. So, you know, let's talk about it because she says that my show was the outcoming or the announcement of her being an author, and I didn't look at it like that, but that's kind of what tied us together. And I say thank you for seeing it that way because, you know, that places me in a certain part of your life that you can't change. You can't take it back now.
Take it back.
Just talk about it a little bit. You know, give a recap of where you was at back then, and we'll get into the conversation.
Okay, literally, most people until the last few months knew that I wrote. So, or even wrote romance. Most people don't know me as Ty Love. In fact, I didn't even show my face. I didn't show my face at all. So I kept my face hidden because I was trying to keep my identity separate. Mainly because, like, people say, do you write like Zane? I mean, it's like Zane with some lessons learned. Don't get me wrong, I think Zane do have lessons, but I'm going from my experience as a psychologist too. So I look at it as, hopefully as you read my books or my stories, even though it's, you know, can be raunchy, sexy, romantic, but there's always a lesson. There's always a moment. I hope that if you read it, you identify with the characters and heal from it. So I kept my identity separate for a reason because my subject has always been children and adolescents, and you know people look you up now. So I don't want people looking up and be like, oh no, what's in her mind? Like, you know, you're working with my family and stuff like that. So I kept my identity separate, but I'm in a transition, and this is what LaVar is talking about. I'm in a transition. So when we started, you know. He realized I was a writer as I was going through my transition, and he was like, "You should come on my show and talk about it." And I don't know if you remember, but I was like, "Okay."
Yeah.
Like
very shy.
Very shy. And was like, "No, I don't know," because that, you know, again, I'm making that transition. But it was just, I'll say this: I did your show back in August, and for my birthday, which is in July, my family and friends surprised me by throwing a book club, reading my books. And you gotta understand, my friends, they're not big readers or romance readers, so they got together without me knowing and read my book, had a cake with one of my book covers on it to say, this is we support you. And that was like a moment for me where I'm like, they get it. Like, they know how important this is for me. They're not looking at me like I just like to write books. They're looking at me like, this is where you should go. You seem happier now. You seem more at peace. And
that's what I wanted you to talk about more, being a psychologist, and understanding that writing is what made you happy, and talk about that struggle that is what we talked about, and why I wanted you to personally just, man, go ahead, go for it. You know, talk about that a little bit more.
I mean, you know, being a psychologist for 20 plus years, that is like what people know me as. They know me as Dr. P. But my original interest was writing. When I started college at FAMU, Go Rattlers, I was originally a journalism major, and I wanted to be a broadcast journalism. Felt like all of this full circle, and I'm talking all the time in front of people. But
then created a whole nother podcast. We'll talk about that more.
But and so it became overwhelming for me at times being a psychologist because I take on so many people's issues and problems. If you could, you know, I basically hear the worst of humanity. If you can put it like that, I'm hearing everybody's horror stories that people may not ever know about the person they're living with because they're telling me. And so to take on it, I'm very empathetic. Like, I cry at good times still. You know what I mean? So I feel when people are sitting in front of me, and it became very draining, very emotional for me. And so I started writing completely different than what I, you know, do, just as an escape. It was just like, and I did it just for fun on this free website, and people started liking it. They were like, oh, this is good. You know, would tell me, you know, I'm just going for fun, like no money, wasn't even thinking about it, like money. It was just something to do. And some of the people were like, you know what, you should try to think about getting published. And I was like, really? And so I looked into it, and as soon as I started publishing, it just became like almost like a drug.
Yeah.
Like where I had to write all the time. Where like my family knows, like we all eat. Then I got my computer on my top. It was like they're like, "Are you working?" I was like, "No, I'm writing."
Right.
And they're like, "I still work." I was like, "No, for me, it's like how y'all play on the social media and look at TikTok all day. I'm writing."
Not play on social media.
I'm just saying, like I had to say that because some of my friends would get mad at me.
Yeah.
They're like, "Why you have your laptop out?" I'm like, "The family, you got your phone out right now. I'm not. I'm having fun. This is fun for me, and I get inspired all the time."
Yeah. And she's very creative. That's the man. Y'all got to read the book. So, at the time you were, you got into it, and by the time it came as a reality for me, you were already at 25 plus books published.
Yeah.
So how many do you have now published, man? We're talking almost a year later. How many books do you have published now?
31. I kind of slowed down.
Yeah, slow down. You done wrote 6 since then, and they're published now. How many do you have unpublished, but already done?
Okay, already done. I got one that's already done. Working on another one as we speak, and just really trying to.
So that's 8 books total since the first time we started talking about this. You already had 25. Now you with 8 more.
Okay, I mean, just.
But you just do this for fun, though.
I do. That's what I said. People don't get. They're like, how you? I'm like, just how. Everybody has their thing that they do, and it's fascinating for them.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, it's writing. It's a good release, and because I had to, of course, cut down my practice. Mm-hmm. I gave up my practice actually because I had my own practice.
Talk about it.
And that was not an easy decision. I gave up my practice in October, and it was not an easy decision in a sense of.
Let me say this, Dr. P. Let me preview it, right?
Okay.
Because preview it. The thing about it is that COVID hit.
Yes.
A lot of people had to adjust.
Yes.
A lot of people had to decide to do something different. A lot of people were forced to do something different.
Yes.
Or it was a little bit of both, right?
Yes.
And so the creative in everybody, I think, came shining through. And forgive me, I can't really remember if that was part of your thing, but as it relates to the situation, I know we spoke on it on that level. And so that's the message I'm trying to get across to people, like even a licensed psychiatrist, person who talks to people about making decisions, realizing what you go through. You're dealing with your own internal battles and keeping that, not necessarily that you're keeping it suppressed or why you're keeping it suppressed, but the point is you go through it too, or went through it too, or are dealing with it now too. But I think now you can say it was an amazing decision.
Yes.
Again, I'm glad to be part of that. And then we're going to get into the things that have happened since then. So that's why I wanted you to talk about how it was, and not just say it was a difficult decision, because I want people to really understand coming from a doctor.
Yeah, no, oh my goodness, in a lot of ways. I can't say it was about the pandemic. I can't say that. Because actually, I'd already started, again, being stressed before the pandemic, and trying to deal with people's problems. I'm a mom, trying to be there for my family. Of course, I'm stressed at work, and so when I come home, I really don't have the patience to hear what everybody, what's going on in my house. And I'm like,
this is drained.
Yeah, so I'm like, this is not fair to them, because they come on talk about their problems. I'm all like,
here we go again.
I had her problems all day, and so I was already feeling that. And during a pandemic, actually, my workload increased as a psychologist, because as you can imagine, people were, going through anxiety. Of course, I had my own. Like, I literally was scared to leave the house at one point. I was like, I found myself being scared. And it was kind of like, now what do you want to do? Do you want to be happier? Do you want, and it was not an easy struggle. Why? Because financially, I accumulated a lot of bills. Had my own business, ups and downs and that, like, almost going broke with my own business. And so I had a lot of debt, had a lot of reasons why it didn't make sense for me to leave my job or leave my career, or if I know I can make money. You know what I mean? Like, this is something that's guaranteed as opposed to something that's not. And that was a hard, because again, I'm trying to take care of my daughter and just life, my finances. And that was like, but I wasn't happy. And so it was a decision that it wasn't easy.
Mm-hmm.
And I felt like I was letting people down who used to me being Dr. P. And, saying like, why would you do that? You know, why would you? And I, you know, I still feel like there are a number of people who don't really support that I'm an author. I'm being honest. There's some people who still
judgmental and just their own.
Yeah, just don't feel like that's not a real career or that doesn't make sense to them.
Or versus being a doctor. You know?
Versus being a doctor. Like, why would you?
So think about it. I mean, you know, and I'm not saying you think about it. I'm talking about the audience because I'm just really trying to press it home. How long did you go to school to become who you are today?
I went to school, undergrad 4 years, graduate school 5, and then I did a postdoc for 1. So I
10 years.
Yeah. I spent most of my 20s in school. Like when my friends, you know, they were partying, having fun. I sacrificed a lot. I remember being broke and poor. Let me just tell you, when I defended my dissertation, you know what meal I had? I had a Big Mac meal from McDonald's.
Wow.
That's all I could afford at that time. Right. And I was excited. I was like, I'm done. Like it was, you know, I literally didn't have any money throughout my 20s. Like there's no, you know, and I would, people going on trips, stuff like that, you know, stuff that people do in their 20s, getting serious in relationships, stuff like that. But I was like, I was on the grind because this is, you know, where my passion at that time was leading me, which was to help people. So I sacrificed a lot. So to jump ahead 20 years later, and say I want to give it up was kind of like,
you really? Worked so hard
for this.
But then it became peace of mind versus, and it's not, I mean, let you speak on this for yourself. It's not that you tired of being a psychologist. It's just that writing outweighs the happiness for the psychology. And so what did you decide to be now? Like, what is your decision?
Writing fills me in a way. And I'll say this because definitely want people who are interested in being a psychologist or in the psychology world to feel like that's how you feel. Because not all of my friends who are still down with school with that are they still just in love with it as when they left graduate school. I just think for myself, I chose some very tough areas. Like I started with just the very tough ones, and I working with foster kids, working with the prison system, working with juveniles. Like I started with people with schizophrenia. I started with the top instead of working my way up. So I think because of the work I did and I care about so many people, it just wore on me.
Yeah.
But where I am now, I still have a small caseload, and there's some people who like, Dr. P, you better not leave me. I know what you're trying to do. Don't leave me. And there's some people I'm always they want to see me. I'm gonna be there for them.
Yeah.
But in terms of how I used to do my psychology, is not. It's one of the reasons why we're gonna talk about it a little bit. But why I do the Mind Matters podcast, because I want to reach more people than just the people that's sitting, in front of me.
Yeah.
So.
You're still Dr. P.
Yeah, I'm always gonna be Dr. P. My original interest in school was community psychology, which means you were focused on the whole.
Yeah.
If my program changed on me to clinical, that's why I ended up being clinical. But that wasn't I originally got into the field because I was interested in community violence, how it affects, children. That was my interest going into. I wanted to do more work like that, like really being in the community, not necessarily doing therapy, but just how to help the community as a whole.
Yeah.
And so.
It just flows like
it is. It flows like that. So I ended up being a clinical psychologist, and so now as a writer, I take some of the experiences of some of the people that I've met over the years, whether it's my clients or personal, and add a twist or two to it, and I have my story.
Yeah.
So it's where I am now, where I actually spend half the time writing, half the time as a psychologist.
That is really dope, man.
Yeah.
I mean, that sums it up. So I want to get into the happy part now,
okay.
Right? So you've made the decision.
Yes.
You're thriving in it, and you've written and published so many books. So first, what type of writer? When people get into your books, what can they expect to feel or receive? Because you're a romance writer.
Yes.
So what can they expect from
you? I'm gonna preface this too. People know me as a romance author, but my original interest was young adult. So and that's where I'm diving back into that world, and I will do some self-help under Dr. P. But in terms of my romance, reading romance is basic. See, that's like my line. But it is. My grandmother loved romance, and that's who I attribute my passion for reading, passion for books. She was a librarian, so I remember that, and she would have books like on her bookshelf,
mm-hmm.
on her shelf, books I'm not supposed to read. I remember this. And I would just read when she wasn't looking. I'd be sitting there reading, and this was like Western romance. It's like, that's, anything about it's like way old, And I remember reading that, and then I just started continuing. I remember my father when I was like 11. My dad, what kind of book are you reading? I'm reading that stuff. Like he would be like, "What are you reading?" I'm like, in my little mind, I'm just like, it's good. Like, but when you read my stories, I write from, like, I hope that you see yourself in my characters. Even if you don't look like my character or might not do the profession that they do, I write from as practical as I can. I'm not as flowery as some people are because I'm more like practical. Like Edgerone Dickey, Terry McMillan, those are like the people that I love their writing because they just write how they feel. And so if you go into my book, and I've had people just this week alone tell me. One lady just told me literally just yesterday, she messaged me and said she had cancer last year. And she found my books and she binged all of my books and said it helped her get through her cancer. She was like, the way that you write it pulled me in.
Now, you ain't told me that. That's amazing.
I just found it out. I just found it, like, literally, she messaged me yesterday. And I was just like, first, to beat cancer. And then I was like, thank you. Like, and I said, this is why I write. I'm glad you reached out and told me this because that's why I write. Because reading was healing for me. Now I'm a writer. So I want people to be healed. Even though my stories are romance. That's why I hate sometimes romance gets a bad name because people don't look at it as seriously as other books. But many of us, not just me, you should have messages in these stories. And yes, you will think a little differently once you read my stories. That is a fact. Yeah. Whether you like my characters or not, you're gonna walk out like or finish reading it like, way to think about it or look at it. Yeah.
They're well written, man. That's awesome within itself. So accomplishments, there's a few things. Of course, you've written a couple books. 8 to be exact, since the last time you've been on the show.
Exactly. He keep going every time. Gonna be 15 by the time the show's over.
There was something I'm recalling. We talked about you were recognized amongst a certain group of people. Mm-hmm. You've had a book or two go number 1. So let's talk about that. Who is this group of people that you were number 1, right? Yeah. You got ranked number 1. Yeah. So talk about that.
Yes, this is like, it's one of those things. Like each year, I say this is my goal for the year. In anything that I'm doing, I'm like, this is my goal for the year. I don't necessarily do resolutions, but this is my goal. That's how I start New Year and by the end of the year, see if I accomplish whatever I said I would accomplish. And I said I wanted to, one of my books go number 1, and that I would be a USA best-selling author. Now, in my head, that wasn't gonna happen until a couple of years. Just not. Just that wasn't. That, I put it down there like, this is what I would like to happen. And what ended up happening in the same week, like it happened within the same week, which was crazy to me. One was, and I'm going to hold this up.
I got you.
Yes. This book right here is my most popular book. It's 500 reviews and counting on Amazon. I don't know something about this book, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about it, but
it's the one she gave me.
Yes, I did. I sure did.
Unforgettable man. Yes.
But when this book I released, oh my goodness, this was released in 2020, I believe. Yes, it was released in 2020. It was released in 2020. But I put it on sale. And because people, I guess, loved this story and shared it, I guess, ended up being in March, this past March, 2 years later,
Unforgettable Man.
number 1 Black romance on Amazon. Like I did a double take when I saw him, like that can't be true. I was just like, I just put it on sale. And
say it one more time. On what?
The number 1 Black romance on Amazon.
Number 1 Black romance on Amazon.
Yes.
That's major.
It is, because I didn't expect, especially for a book that was 2 years old. And yeah, because I just, that didn't happen. Like I put it on sale saying, this is one of our popular books, I put it on sale. And it was just on Amazon. Like I didn't have it on Barnes & Noble and other sites where it had been. So when that happened, I just couldn't do nothing but smile because I was like, that was unexpected.
Yeah.
Like really, because in my head, I'm thinking about a new book, a future book. I'm trying to figure out what can I write differently so I can reach number 1. Because other books hadn't, nowhere near that status. And so to have a book that was released 2 years ago become number 1 was truly amazing. I'm like, oh my God, I'm really on the right path. Like, Because sometimes I'll be honest with you, even with this journey, I still have times where I'm like, especially when you start thinking about finances, I start to be like, okay, go to what I know. Go to what I know is I can depend on, which is me being Dr. P. So that was confirmation. But also I did a compilation. I did a
now before we switch.
Okay.
Isn't this part of a trilogy?
It's actually part of a series. It's actually 4 books now.
Okay. 4 books now. She wrote another.
4 books now. It is. I have. It was a trilogy. He's right. Well, last time we talked, it was. It is now 4 books, and I'm going to continue because this is my most popular series. People really like this. And this is basically the story of 4 friends, 4 male friends who over time have not been as close, and so each is their journey to love. And I base some of this on some of my high school experiences, mixed in like some of the character names I use or some from high school because it takes place in New Orleans.
IG too. Make sure IG can see it.
Yeah.
So name the 4 books for me.
The 4 books. The very first one is Unforgettable Kiss. The second one is Unforgettable Man. Third one, Unforgettable Night. Lastly, Unforgettable Love. So each of them are second chance romances. Each character is, getting involved with someone from their past that comes back. Some they never had a relationship, but now they do, and some definitely had a relationship. And
so first one is Kiss.
Yes.
So all unforgettable. So first one, Unforgettable Kiss.
Yes.
Unforgettable Man.
Yes. Unforgettable
Night. Yes. And then Unforgettable Love.
Oh, good memory.
Already.
You don't forget. Hey, Unforgettable. You got it.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Good for you. Absolutely. I would forgot. Okay.
That's what's up.
I definitely would forgot. So that later on that week, there's a compilation that I did with other writers, and it was a mafia romance. Something different for me. It was interracial and mafia. So it was a white guy and a black woman. And it was about the mafia. So I had to, I had to get immersed in my Godfather and the Bronx Tale and all this, gangster movies that I love, immerse myself to write that story. And we got together and wrote it, and it made it up to, I want to say, 83 of all books in the country.
Wow.
All books in the country, not just black books, all books. And that made us make the USA bestseller list, which is a very hard feat to make. Mm-hmm. And I found it out the exact same week. There are some people have, wanted people strive for authors, especially independent authors, because that's so independent. Because I'm an independent author.
Sup, Bree? She said you finally made it.
Hey.
She made that decision. Absolutely.
Yes. And that is something for independent author like myself, because usually that's the traditional publishers to make it to the Amazon bestseller list. Not Amazon, I'm sorry. USA Today, because that's bigger. That's across all the booksellers. Yeah. Yes. And so I was like, okay.
And you said number 83 across all boards in America.
Yes.
Number 83.
Yes. Yes.
That's amazing.
Yeah. Was like I said, I joined with some other authors, and we all wrote together, all black women. And so that was an amazing moment that we had. We shared together. So yeah. So of course my next goal is on my own. Yeah. Have a book on my own to make it to that point. To make it to that list.
Absolutely.
But I'm happy with what I have now. So I am resting in my laurels. I am enjoying the moment. I'm not just like, okay, what's next? Yeah. Because some people can get like that and don't focus on what have you accomplished right now. Yeah. And so for me, it was just further confirmation I'm on the right path.
Absolutely. And that's what I was going to lead with is like, you made that decision, and I think as you just said, that it was a good decision that you made. Yeah. I don't know if I missed it, but there was this group of people that you were ranked number 1 on, or is that part of the group writing that you were talking about? You got recognized amongst a certain group of people that you were talking about, or maybe I misunderstood.
No, I mean, it was just a USA Today list.
Oh, okay.
Yes. That was the list, and Amazon.
Okay. Yes. Okay. Gotcha. Yeah. And so another thing, as a writer, going way back in your early childhood, you always picture yourself owning a bookstore, or being part of a bookstore. Yes. This is another confirmation for me. So I won't even say anything further. So let's talk about it and talk about who you are today for a certain bookstore.
Yeah. I mean, everything is coming full circle. It's just a crazy thing. I have to thank you again, because if it wasn't for him, everything would not be coming full circle in terms of being here at this bookstore, and even having me come out as an author more. I definitely love bookstores. Even with my PhD, trying to get a job at Barnes and Noble, they wouldn't hire me until I was too overqualified. And I was like, I just want to work. I'm not trying to manage.
Trying to be here.
I just want to be here helping people. I just want to give people books. Like, I love bookstores. Like, and I said to myself, I would own my first black bookstore that I really remember when I was in college. And it was my psychology professor, ironically, who convinced me to be a psychologist to change my major. They had a black bookstore, and that was when I was like, oh my God, one day I will own one. So um, and so when I got a chance to meet Raven, actually through the Reach Podcast show, because I was there the day she was on the show, and we talked and we just connected, and we talked about how we could work together. And she was like, since you're indie author, I mean, maybe you can be, because a lot of bookstores don't really promote or help indie authors. Maybe that could be your role where you are like, she said, come up with your name. So I came out trying to be cute and say, brown sugar girl. I don't know. I was trying to figure out something to come with. Then I said, I'll make it simple. Yeah. I am the indie liaison to the authors, independent authors. So my job is to help here at Brown Sugar Cafe and Books is to help independent authors like myself get a chance to shine, to have their books displayed in the store, to have people come and support and buy. Because as you know, to be traditionally published can be very hard. And it's not that you don't have good work. It's just like getting into the NBA. Like you could be a good basketball, one of the best basketball players,
don't make it.
And don't make it. This ain't traditional publishing. But does that mean you shouldn't write? Does that mean you should not have your work out there? No. So that is why we do what we do. And we plan to have some workshops to help people who are thinking about writing, how to do that whole process from, the idea all the way to it being published and marketing. So that's something to look forward to for those who are listening who want to be a writer.
It help you realize part of your dream. And you went as far as saying maybe you wasn't going to own it, but you was definitely going to be part of it.
Yeah.
And you are, I would say, the biggest role in this store outside of the owner, right? Because it's a bookstore, and you are the head of and in control of the books for the majority, for the independent authors that come through here. Yeah. And so I'd like for you to tell them a little bit more about the process. Like, what does it take? Yeah. Because Brown Sugar is the NBA, or maybe we'll say like the D League, because in my opinion, D League has a lot of talent, and they don't make it to the NBA, or even players in the NBA go to the D League. We ain't gonna make no comparison to the bookstore, but no, just what does it take, for them to get in, and if they're missing the quarters that we're accepting the people, what would you suggest them do? So, what does it take?
Okay, one is actually emailing me, and that is at the email is authors. AUTHORS at BSCAB, Brown Sugar Cafe and Books.org. If you can remember the acronym, if you can remember Brown Sugar Cafe and Books, that's the acronym, but it's authors at. And you just, tell me interested in, and now we're seeing information and we take it from there. We're trying to give everybody a chance. So we're rotating our book authors around like every 90 days or so that, hopefully people will get a chance. And so Brown Sugar's the NBA. Yeah, and so we want quality books. And so if we tell you no, and that's my hope, that's why I want to do workshops, because I want people, who may not know this is what people will look for in buying a book. I want to help people, because I actually had, a guy, he came to me and said, I need you to read my book. And he gave me a binder and it was handwritten. And I was like, sir, I'm going to read this.
We're going to make you better.
Yes. And so I said, you got to type this. And he was like, but it's good. I said, I'm not saying it's not good. And I looked a little bit, I mean, it was. I said, but you have to type it, because you got to do that number one. And I was like, first thing you do is pay somebody. You may not, I don't know about computers, I don't know this. You need to type it. And so it's those little things like that, and I did. I steered them to other people to get the process. Because at the time, I wasn't in that mode of really helping someone develop from beginning to end. But now I'm in that capacity. Now I'm in that role. But again,
you've only been open a month. So of course you wasn't in that capacity. It's been a month. But anyway, go ahead.
No. This guy met.
Oh, you talking about before that? Okay.
Yeah, no, okay. This was not recent. This hasn't been recent. But I'm just saying, example, he knew I was an author, and he reached out to me, and I said I would help him. So I thought he would come with. Yeah. Yeah, he came. I was like, I'm really busy, sir. I'm not trying to be, but it was like, but he was like, okay. And so I was like, just go get it typed, and then maybe we can talk about it. He called me again recently saying he'd been working on it. So. And I told him we're going to have some workshops, so I will reach out to him so he can be a part of the workshop. Yeah. But I just want people to if they really want to write, to realize their dream. Because I've seen independent authors come in here and they cry when they see their books on the shelf. They literally are like just touched because this is something that was a dream for them that they wanted, but felt like it couldn't happen. Yeah. So Brown Sugar Cafe and Books is allowing that for people to see their dreams. And these books are, that's one thing I said, like independent books,
they fly,
especially children's books, especially the children one. People need children books, especially with, you know, kids of color. And so, yeah, people are selling. They come in proud, like, my book sold. It really sold, you know, and it's a prideful feeling. So for me, just being a part of the book, so that the ambiance, it's just a feeling like a part of my dream. That everything, like I said, everything is coming full circle. This right here, I was just telling my mom the other day, I was like, I really like my life. My life is not perfect, mind you. It is not.
Yeah.
Still got a lot of stuff going on in the world. But I do. I feel like I like it.
Yeah. I do. Man, I can appreciate the story, you know, and it's amazing. And this is why I wanted you to tell it and do a follow-up, because now people get to see, if they watch the first show, you know, and I challenge y'all to go back and watch the first show. And everything was trying to stop us that day too.
Oh my God, yeah.
So one thing I'd like to announce,
oh my God,
now that we're light years since, and shout out to our girl Tawana, you know, that was another Black-owned business, Diamond Fit Nutrition. They're no longer in the same spot, but has made a huge impact on the community just with health and wellness and stuff like that. And I got to get her to come out to our show too. You know, we'll talk about more of that in the beginning. So shout out to Tawana Lewis and Diamond Fit Nutrition, because it is still a company and her brand. She's just doing it in a different capacity. But the first interview, the freaking lights went out, you know, and God wouldn't so have it that the way the room was set up, the light just shined from the front door back to us. Yeah. And we were able to carry on with that show because
it was hot.
Yeah, you know, uncomfortable. But no, we pushed through, and she was able to tell her story, and that is still by far one of my highest rating podcasts, you know, as far as viewers and stuff. So, you know, it was just a good time, and you were able to tell that story. And then here we are again, giving an update, and absolutely been confirmed over several times for you, being rated on Amazon, being rated on USA Today, being the lead person for the books at Brown Sugar Cafe and Books, all because you made a decision to step out on faith.
Yeah, no, I mean, you put it into exact words, because that exactly is, because it was definitely a step. It's actually a step out on faith every single freaking day, really, of saying, this is the choice I'm making. This is the choice I'm making. This is the choice I'm making. And, you know, and having moments of peace, you know, like I had to, you know, give myself a moment to just think about it, to say, you're doing the right thing. Because every time I ask God, I'm like, God, I'm on the right path. Am I on the right path? Something will happen. He'll give me a sign, and I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. But yeah, I mean, it is. I mean, yeah, because different things happen in the course of, you know, in the last few months, good and bad. That, you know, that make that starts to make me go, well, no, I need to go back to Dr. P, because this is not, you know, that. But where I am right now is like, man, this is cool. Like, that's all I'm gonna say. It's cool.
Yeah,
it's cool.
Definitely, and you know, I just gotta say it, but I'm gonna be mindful of how I say it. I'll even say in regards to debts have been drastically reduced, right? And I think that's another sign. Like, it's still a debt of a certain type, and it's been drastically reduced. It's just amazing. You know, it's just amazing.
Oh, yeah.
You know, because we all face challenges. Like that's the whole point.
Exactly. That is the whole
you know, that's the whole point. Just when you step out on faith and you keep grinding and you keep doing what you're doing, you pour into what you're doing, and you still keep God as the head, and He's gonna make a way. So salute to you. Like, that's a wrap up on the story of you. I guess in essence it's a wrap up, but there's so much more that you're doing. Yeah. But go ahead.
Yeah, because I just want to say, like, going to talk a little bit about what's happening, going through the same kind of thing, because I've been spending more time, you know, with the bookstore, and I'm behind in my writing because, again, I'm wearing a different hat, which I enjoy. And so I started feeling that guilt again because I'm not producing as much as I am. And so...
Yeah, you've only wrote 8 books since the last time we talked. Yeah, you're not producing. Anyway.
He always say, just promote what you already have, sister. You're going to be fine.
Exactly, for real.
She's like, just promote what you have, okay?
Promote what you got. You don't need to write nothing else.
You need to write nothing else.
Another confirmation. A book you had already wrote 2 years prior went #1.
This is true.
Right? And I talked about that.
He did.
So, confirmation again.
Okay.
Whatever.
Okay. So, true. One of the new directions I'm going in is that for next, this is something I just decided. Like I went to the movies the other day and it inspired me to be like, oh, you know what, that's what I'm gonna do. Because I was feeling torn a little bit.
I know where you're going.
I don't know. Okay, we'll see.
Yeah.
I was feeling torn about my writing, and one of my focuses, I want to be like a 3-pronged author where I'm writing, like I said, young adult. I'm going into urban fantasy with some characters, and I want to get that traditionally published. I'm working with this literary manager who said, who's trying to help me with my 3 different hats with Tiye Love, romance, my Dr. P, and my young adult. And I've only been Tiye Love. I'm still struggling with the other 2 hats, and I really want to get into that. So I was feeling torn, especially young adult. I really love young adult, and what I have in mind for y'all is gonna be so cool. Like I just get excited thinking about once I get that book out. It's gonna be serious.
Yeah. Really quick, gotta interrupt you.
Okay. Yeah.
Shout out to our man Dexter. He's an indie author here. He says, "Thank you, Dr. P, for keeping us indie authors together."
Hey, thank you.
And also, happy belated birthday. My man celebrated a birthday on yesterday. Yeah. He was present on Tuesday for the King conversation. So big shouts out to you, brother. So yes, man.
Yeah. But and it hit me like, instead of putting all this pressure trying to get it done now, that for my 2023, that is my push for the other avenues that I have. I might even drop the love and just be Tiye. Is what I'm thinking, just because of that I'm spreading my type of writing. So that's something I just want to announce here. The first time I'm saying it.
I didn't know that.
No,
I will admit that.
First time.
He's like, oh, we're going to see. No,
yeah,
I didn't
exactly,
know that.
Exactly.
So we're going to have to have part 3 already. We're going to talk about this.
I want to come back when I do my young adult.
Yeah.
Because we want to actually market that to be like straight into like TV, movie. Like that's the goal for that, because of the way that I'm trying to, the way that I am writing it is, to give people of color, again, a chance to be in a different world than what we normally see them.
Yeah.
Using what I know from New Orleans, spirits guide me, because I run from the spirits. Being honest with y'all, you might think I'm crazy, but I've had spirits talk to me, and I'm like, no, I don't want to talk to y'all. But now I'm like, maybe I need to be welcoming.
You Whippy Goldberg from the book. Shout out to my man Von T. I see you, brother. Appreciate you watching.
So I just wanted to.
So now
that's the future. Yeah, that is the future of Tiye Love.
Okay. And that's always a question that I ask, like what goals and this and that. So glad to hear that, and can't wait to be a part of that as well. Where I thought you were going, which I want to shout out to your sister first. Talk about what she's doing for a little bit, and then also the Audible stuff.
Oh my goodness! So let's
shout out to you.
Oh my God! Yes. Okay, I actually want to shout out both my sisters. We're all creative people in different ways. I have 2 sisters. I'm the oldest. The sister, that's my youngest sister, she has an organization called Broad Ambitions, and she's trying to do, or planning to do, all kind of retreats. Her first one is tomorrow for teachers. Just give them relaxation. She's a drama. She majored in drama teacher, and uses storytelling.
So she's a drama queen. Literally.
And wants to use her gift of storytelling to help teachers get through this. The whole 45,000 teachers quit HISD. So her job, her role is to help teachers get some relief. Kind of like as psychologists need that relief.
Yeah.
Then my other sister, that's next to me, she is in the process, and she's going to be on a short at some point. She's in the process.
Hurry up.
Yeah.
Get on the reach.
Yes. She's in the hospital right now, so I hope that, she gets, she'll be home soon. She has sickle cell, so she tells us so she can talk about just the challenges of still trying to.
She'll be home soon.
Yeah. Yes. So she has a movie coming out. She produced a movie, wrote, directed, and produced with little money. Like we actually tallied it up. She might have spent, she said $3,000-$4,000. That's what mostly from her, but all of us putting together helping. But a full movie. Her trailer is on Facebook. She did a phenomenal job, and it's in the process of to be put like to the big, like
big
the TV, like TV, yeah, to be on streaming channels.
Was it
like
Hulu?
No, Tubi.
Tubi.
Yeah, to be.
Tubi.
That's what she's working on the process. So very proud of her that she did all that on her own. And so yay, yeah, I like that. So very proud of her. So yeah, so as a family, we all like putting our
y'all all under one roof.
Yes, we're all under one roof. That's a journey.
Can't go over there. No, it's like
that's a journey in itself.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I love my sisters. We're all very creative and very blessed that that we all kind of help each other. Like, what you working on now? What you doing now?
And you played another role. You added to your hat being the film director as well too.
You made fun of me. Say, why were you on there? I don't know. They had me holding film. I was holding the boom,
the
boom. Yeah.
All that.
Yeah, I was all in the background doing stuff. It's like, you need you over there. Oh, okay, I'm running. I literally.
Been telling me about her sister's movies, but didn't tell me they were in the home. Like,
oh yeah, they used my house at the time, and it was. We did what we could do, and it was an adventure.
I can't wait to see it, man.
Yeah, no, it's good.
Yeah.
Y'all gonna like it.
Absolutely. So big shout out to you, sis. I know you'll be home soon. This is part of her journey and part of her story later on. So hurry up and get home. Stop playing with them people. Get home. So now I want to get to the part where this is something new you're doing. With the Audible books.
Yeah, that's one of the big push in the writing industry is audiobooks. Like people. I ask them all the time. Like, people who don't have time to like just sit down and read, go out there and cause stuck in traffic or clean up around the house, they can listen like people listen to podcasts. It's an audiobook. And so that is one of the directions I want to go in. And I was like, I like your voice, so maybe I gotta see how you read.
So many other people.
I gotta see how you read first, y'all. I gotta see. And if he comes up with reading some of the stuff I write, he might be like blushing, like, I can't read this. I can't read this and have it recorded.
Yeah, right.
I don't know.
But we'll see. We'll see how that goes.
We'll see how that goes.
Yeah.
But yes, I'm curious to be like, read this. Now, okay, I'm gonna put him on the spot. I'm not gonna put him on the spot. I ain't gonna make him blush. Okay, so that is definitely the direction I want to go in. So many readers have asked me that, like, when are you gonna get audiobooks? And I'm like, it's actually not it can be expensive, and some people have told me it's not worth the investment. But then I've had people say, no, we should go for it because more and more people. Don't have time to read anymore, but they can listen. And I, even myself, like, I'm stuck in traffic, I have listened to audiobooks. I don't have the time to read anymore, and so that is a pleasant way to ride in traffic.
That's what's up. What's up. And so then even ebooks, you already have ebooks, or okay?
All my books are. You can find them on Amazon. I have my TiyeLoveBook.com. You'll see just everything I'm doing right now. And you can always get my books in hardcover. I sell them both ways. For people who just rather be on their phone and just click, it's there. Actually, I have a sale on my first trilogy that I published, 99 cents for each book. So, hey, this might be a good time to introduce to me if you're like, I don't know if I like her writing. 99 cents, $1.
Wow.
Just download on your phone and you can start reading.
That's what's up. That is what's up. That's amazing. So, in wrapping up, we'll make is there anything else you'd like to say as it relates to Tiye Love or Tiye, in the journey you've been on?
Not right now.
What would you tell, since you're in control and the indie author liaison, what would you tell people as elevator pitch, as words of advice, words of wisdom? What would you say to those people, and what would you say to the people that are watching the show?
You have to believe in yourself more than anybody. If you don't believe in your product, then no one else will. So if you're coming to, say, this is why I think my book should be in the store, say it with confidence. Even if you don't really feel it, fake it. You know what I mean? Because it's like, this is your work. And and this is not to say that I don't have moments where I doubt this. I'm not saying that, but it really is about, because there's people coming, and again, you don't have to have tons of followers. It could be your very first book. But it's about saying, this is what I want. And then be open to criticism, to accepting constructive criticism. Not just, because I'm not going to ever tear you down, because if that's your dream, that's your dream. But I might say, well, what about this? What do you think? Because I want everybody to be their best. I want everybody to be great. That's just how I live. So, again, just believe in yourself, believe in your product. Even if you say, I could be a better writer. Hey, I'm still learning. I can be a better writer every single freaking day. I learn and say, I can write that better. I can do that better.
Absolutely. And I mean, when you say you believe in people, she absolutely does. And wanted to put this back up on the screen so you guys can go and follow her. You see TyeLoveBooks.com. You see Ty Love on, I don't know what that first one is. Well, I got to get on that one. What is the one with the little mic down there at the bottom left? Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok.
Yeah.
What's the other one? Oh, it's Facebook. I'm sorry. So Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and also TikTok. Y'all can find her, Ty Love. Get on Instagram, get on Amazon, get on USA Today. Find those books, keep it going so she can have another awesome week of selling the stores out and breaking the internet. But I want to move into something and I appreciate the compliments, and I'm more ecstatic that I show to be recognized as the reason and part of the reason, and to be at such a pivotal moment in your life, So I appreciate that you view me that way. But she also set me up. She did all this to set me up to develop this other awesome platform that we have.
Yeah.
And so before we get back into that, I want to just put back up this flyer too. We want you guys to recognize this art gallery and art market, but as you can see, it's also about mental health awareness. And this is the event that we're bringing the mental health awareness to. And as you can see, myself, Dr. P, and David, along with two very special guest hosts, will be part of. And this is our brother Snyder's George event. Just as Dr. P or Ty Love, whatever you want to call her, is part of being the author liaison. He is the artist? Curator? Yeah. So he's controlling the art that's in the bookstore. Yes. So he put together this event. He asked us to come on as The Mind Matters, as a threesome, and just have these conversations. Threesome. I said that because, you write romance books, and so we just selling it. But no, we are a threesome. But no, listen, stop playing. I was trying to be funny. But
I gotta take off my towel.
Yeah, you're trying to write a book.
Someone got the hat back on. Okay.
So no.
All right.
People need to understand the creation of The Mind Matters, and I absolutely want them to know that it was not me.
No.
It was not David. It was you.
It was me.
So let's talk about how that happened, what you did, and we are on that same journey together to where this thing gonna blow. We already know. And shouts out to, give me some dap, man. Shouts out to season 2. Today is the day for the show. Yep. We're starting a new series, but we're gonna get into that in just a minute. So talk about how that came about.
Okay. It actually came about from the very first time I was on your show. And I'm very nervous. This is even though I used to teach all of that, get in front of people, do presentations, I still get nervous because at heart I'm shy, I'm reserved. So I have to come out of my shell to do these things. And so, but he made me feel real comfortable. We had fun, and I was like, and I'd already been thinking about how do I get the message across about mental health, especially now. This is where COVID did influence me because so many people were, feeling depressed or anxious. People normally didn't feel this way. People who, like my daughter has to give credit. She's very strong. She's stronger than her mama in terms of emotions. She laughed at me when I cried. She's like, here she go again. That's how she's looking at me. She's like,
come on, what's that, really?
Here she go. Because she's I have to give her that. Like in terms of, she's very together when it comes to her emotions. And but when she started being tearful and crying, I was like, whoa, what's going on? Yeah, because I'm like, this is not you,
not my baby.
Nah, this is not, And I was just like, okay, I'm rubbing her back, like, okay. And then it was just about, she was like, Mom, I'm tired of this. Like, I don't, she was frustrated with this whole process of, having her 8th grade year. She had so many plans that she wanted to do, and it got canceled. And she was like, it's her last year, junior high. Middle school, yes, and just trying to figure it all out. And seeing her like that was like an outcome for me, because again, I'm always focused on other people, not necessarily my house, which is not a good thing per se. But that's just how I've been most of my life, dealing with other people's problems, not my own, not my child. And then I was like, but I can't help everybody, right? And I'm not supposed to help everybody, because some people we don't jail. Some people come to offices, it don't work. Yeah. So I never will say I can help everybody, because I can't.
Right.
But I wanted to do something people kind of understand what they were going through, because mental health is everyday life. Like, and I think people still have a stigma about it, because people say all day, I got the sugar, or I got, I got heart issues, I have high blood pressure, but people don't want to say I got bipolar, or I got to take my meds.
You say I got the sugar. It didn't hit me. That's what we black people say. I got that sugar. That's too funny. I got the sugar.
Watch out now. Don't get the sugar. But diabetes, for those who don't know, but I think everybody knows.
Yeah, we did have to let them know that.
Yeah, just in case. Diabetes we're talking about.
Got the sugar.
And people are very comfortable. And I remember even going to the doctor, my own doctor, and she knows I'm a psychologist. I remember going to her once, and she, because now I think a lot of doctors are now actually asking about mental health questions. They'll say, like, going through a list, and I know the list because I do this. They're going down seeing if you got depression or anxiety. And when she asked was I depressed, I was like, I thought about saying, actually, I am. It stopped her in her tracks. She didn't know how to handle it. She was just like, what?
She was just going through the list.
Yeah, she was going through the list. But when I said it, she didn't know what to do with it. And I said, I wonder how often does that happen, where you tell a doctor what I'm experiencing, and they just at a loss. She didn't know this. She just kind of gave me a hug. And I was like, I'm okay. I'm just being honest with you. Usually people either probably not telling you the truth. And I actually told her what I was experiencing at that time. And so I want people to be comfortable with saying, this is how I feel. I want people to say it's okay to be like, I'm mad right now because this didn't happen.
Yeah.
But are you really mad or are you sad or hurt? And that's how the only way you can express it is through anger. So that's why I wanted to do the Mind Matters podcast and why we call it that, because it is about the mind. You don't know what is in a person's mind. This is me and you talking. I don't know exactly everything that you're thinking or everything that I'm thinking. What you see is not necessarily what's in the mind. And so how many, people committing suicide left and right, and people will say they didn't even look sad. They didn't even look, because again, we don't know what's going on in the mind. And so when after this experience with LeVar, I was like, would you mind helping me with a podcast?
Yeah. Come calling me. And she's so slick about how she does. She's like, I got this idea. And she told me about it. And I mean, I was all for it. She's telling me how shy she is and all. I'm like, man, let's do it.
She kept pressure. So we ain't gonna do it. I'm all like, I was just thinking about it. I ain't mean for real now.
Yeah, but we made it happen, and then I don't know if it was in the same call, but
it wasn't the same call. It wasn't, because initially I really was, I was really picturing like, just the two of us. Yeah. And then at the time, Dave, who was the intern at the time in my office, working with us, and as a therapist, Black male therapist, and working on his PsyD in psychology, I thought it'd be important to hear from a male perspective and what they see. Because there's not many, I give them kudos for that, there's not many Black men who are therapists or psychologists. That's very rare. And we need them, especially like in prison system, school systems, because again, as y'all have addressed over and over again, especially with the, with the King conversations, Black men need to be heard. Yeah. And so I asked, I was like, and I didn't know how he would feel either, because I'm all like, we don't need the thing is, he was just, we work as a supervisory intern. So me even asking him was like, we know each other. So I'm asking him like, would you like to be a part of the podcast? And he was like, sure. Yeah. Like it was so simple. And I'm all, because I was like kind of being like, should I
all in your mind, being a psychologist.
All in my head, Should I even ask him? Because, he may be like, why? For what? Yeah. But
we embraced it.
We embraced it, and so then I was like, let's see if all of us could get together and how it would work. And I think we blend well. Our chemistry is good. Yeah, we have our ups and downs just like anything. Because we all very strong-minded people. And I really enjoy doing the show. I look forward to doing the show. Again, that's something else that got, that added to my list in terms of writing, which can take away some of my writing preparing for the show. Yeah. But
we got creative. We did a photo shoot. We took pictures. And
I have to give you credit for that, because he's a promo person. Of course, me and Dave like, wow, we gotta wear matching shirts. But he's branding us, and we so used to it now. We like, you ain't wear your shirt today. Like, why you wear your shirt?
Why you got your shirt on?
And I'm like, I need more shirts now. Yeah. Okay, that's next. We need more shirts because.
Shouts out to Coach Brown, man, for making those shirts. Yeah. We definitely gonna be getting with you here really soon. But I just wanted people to hear that, because there may be people that think that I came up with the idea, I run it, and this and that, but this amazing lady had this idea, and me and David are just strong anchors, and now we own it together. I would say, and we did the first season just how I started this show, how I started the Reach podcast. I just started doing something. It was to be the voice of my nonprofit, Dad Chronicles, and it grew to a whole nother thing, and I'm still not wrapping my arms around it in the way that I should, just as we're not necessarily wrapping our arms around the Mind Matters, because I'll just say this show and the Mind Matters podcast is about to go to a whole nother level. because what we're doing is important.
It is.
I think we have actually come to the space of really realizing how important it is. Shouts out to everybody who watches the Mind Matters podcast, because it's because of you that we've moved to this next level and are inviting out a studio audience, because we've had several guests on the show and viewers like, man, y'all should have a live studio audience. And so,
exactly. The viewers told like someone of our guests told us, we should look into that. And again, it's like when you say we own it, because everybody brings something different, and it was you who got us to find a space for us to do the in person. So I definitely
that's what I was gonna do. Shouts out to Black Wall Street New Generation Mall. That is the spot that we are in, and we want you guys to come out tonight. Come out tonight and be part of our live studio audience. And it is every Thursday, but this is the location that we are at. I'm trying to see if I can put up the address here in just a second. But you join us every week as we stream, and we go live from 6:30 to 8. The location is right there at the bottom of the screen. And big shouts out to Black Wall Street New Generation Mall, another amazing place, Black-owned mall here in Houston, and allowing us to conduct and host this podcast every week. And we just want to definitely give homage to it. And
it's a nice lounge. It really is a nice lounge, a nice place. After we finish the show, we mingle, drink with some good music, and really just unwind. Because again, our goal is to get people comfortable with this whole concept of mental health, of mental illness, and not look at it as a stigma. May is Mental Health Awareness Month, so this would be a perfect time for you to come join us, or whether you're in person or watching it from your convenience of your home or wherever you are, because it really is about us becoming more aware, and how we as a community, we as Black people, are more impacted by mental health than any other race, because of racism, poverty, so many issues that impact us that do not impact, or at least will not impact other races as significantly. So this is why the show is important. And we do it in a fun manner. Like we talk about some serious things, but we'll laugh and joke with each other at the same time.
Absolutely.
Because again, every day.
We want it to be a common thing. We are trying to bring the awareness of this mental health thing. And again, for those of you who may not have heard of it or seen it, that's why I wanted to put these graphics up really quick. So that way you can become a little bit more familiar, and also how to find us on social media. But again, we're going live today. And we want to put up, let me put up this flyer about today, because Dr. P, talk about a little bit about what we talking about, as far as today.
Okay. Now today, I will say this, for the last 3 weeks, how we decided to start off our new second season, we were focusing on the psychology of a man, how he is viewed, how he is considered, right? And so we spent 3 weeks talking about men. So now it's time for the ladies. It's time for to talk about women. And so the next 3 sessions, we're really going to explore how women are considered, how Black women, how people view them. So when we talk about that, it is about, based on how people view them, it's also how we act, how we perceive. And we're going to start with developmental stages. So tonight is about childhood, girlhood. Like, what makes a girl tick? Why do girls do certain things? So it's going to be interesting. We'll talk a little bit about, at least how I see it, the different things that girls go through that boys don't. Because at one point we do veer apart. Like boys and girls are alike to a certain, develop similarly, and then at one point we break apart.
Yeah.
So today we're talking about childhood, girlhood, because what happens to you in childhood affects you the rest of your life. So it's important that we really, dwell in and talk about it. So for yourself as an adult looking back and, pinpointing that was the issue I had, or if you're raising a daughter, a child, like things that you can do to be, make sure you're doing the best that you can. And next week we'll do adolescent, transition from, adolescent to adulthood. And lastly, we'll talk about women and motherhood. The same cycle that we did with the men, we're doing with the women. So I'm looking forward to it because I really want Black women to be aware of how they think, who they are, why they do the things they do. Because that is the key. If you kind of understand where some of this is coming from, it makes your life easier. Doesn't mean you're going to be perfect, doesn't mean you're going to make mistakes, but at least you have more understanding of this is why I'm doing it. This is why I do that.
So again, man, we'll put up this flyer. We want you guys to show up and give us a reason to keep this going and being in person like this, because we don't have to, but we want to. But we only want to do it if you guys are going to engage and support and feel like the conversation is necessary. So if you guys could join us, the address is right there. Again, shout out to Black Wall Street New Generation for allowing us to hold this over there, and it is the Mind Matters podcast. And we want you guys to follow us on social media. Again, we understand people might not be able to make it, so if you're one of those people who can't make it out, we will be streaming live on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube still, but we have an awesome time in person. The idea for me with the networking after about 8:30 to 10:30 is to allow businesses, people who have business, shouts out to Andrea from the Black Store with her how do you say it? The colon cleaning. I forgot the word that she used.
Colonoscopy.
Yeah, she's for men especially, and then also to our sister Tiye, who makes copper jewelry, and there's a whole mental aspect behind that. Yes. She's also a person that's part of the Vibe Tribe over here at Brown Sugar. Yeah. So if you feel like your business relates to mental health and wellness, not that we don't want any other business, but we're being very specific about the vendors that we allow out. But if you're a business owner of any type, just come out and be part of the networking event that we do after. So that's all I really wanted to put out there, man. So Dr. P, we're gonna put your information back up here. Y'all go and buy this sister's books. She is a romance author, Tiye Love, and her slogan is "Reading Romance is Babe." I don't know about all that, no, I'm saying. But that's major. I'm proud of you. I want to say congratulations.
Thank you.
Appreciate you being on the show again. We're going to get to work over here at Brown Sugar Cafe and
That's
Books.
what we got to do now.
Yeah, we're about to get to work. Yes, exactly. And so we want you guys to come and check us out over here, be part of what we got going on, and just stay connected. So a couple last things we'll definitely announce. Listen, the King Conversations, which is my platform for Dad Chronicles, we are going to be doing that again in 2 weeks. That will be on the 24th of this month. Will be our next meeting. So guys, if you are someone who wants to be part of the platform, I received so many messages. I told you, I was like, I was proud that day. You know, it felt good. I didn't know what to expect from it, but I felt good. So everybody's been reaching out. Oh, let me just go ahead and say this too. My phone has been messed up. I know people have been calling me, missing my calls, missing me answering. But that'll be fixed come Monday. There's just some things I need to do. If you have the second line, call that number. I ain't gonna put it on the screen, but if you're lucky enough to have that second number, just hit me on that, or continue to inbox me on Facebook. I will eventually get to the messages because I'm not somebody who sits on the computer and sits on the phone and all that. But I will definitely get to you, so you can inbox me or email. But I'll be back and running here in just a little bit, and then also. Big shouts out to, again, our sister Raven for being able to host the Tamika Scott event, who is of Escape. Exactly. That's going to be on May 28th. So you guys get your tickets for that. Listen to the conversation. And again, lastly,
get at least 200 people to participate.
Yes, talk about that a little bit more.
Yes, that's going to be an event. Tamika Scott has a cookbook, and she has, some of her cookbook has foods to get you in the mood. That's what I want to. That's what I want to find out about.
Okay.
And she got some drinks. I think she said like the Georgia peach margarita or cocktail, something like that. And she's supposed to have all these different recipes and stuff. So she wants to, have, Raven's going to be the host. She's going to be curating. So we want it to be fun. It's not just, Tamika Scott talking about her books. We want to be entertaining. We're playing to hopefully you join us as we create
these things.
Create some of the, her drinks or her dishes. So it's supposed to be, entertaining and fun. So I hope, anybody can watch the stream no matter where you are. We're talking about stream. We're not talking about in person. Everything will be streamed. Some people can, of course, if you're in the Houston area, Katie, you can come into the bookstore, but it will be streamed across the nation. Absolutely. So definitely hope that, you can check us out. There'll be more details. Again, if you want to know anything about Brown Sugar Cafe and Books, go to the website and join the email list, the newsletter, and you will get information as soon as things are happening.
Absolutely, and you can get all that you need to know and keep in touch. So we'll put that up here on the screen, and also the address and how you can find us, and also the social media for Brown Sugar Cafe and Books right there on the screen. So be part of what we have going on over here, and we look forward to seeing you guys. And lastly, just one more time, we want to send a huge shout out to our boy Snader and the event that we are part of as the Mind Matters crew. Since I said threesome last night, we'll switch it to crew.
Thank you. Thank you.
The Mind Matters crew, and we'll be hosting and doing a little bit of mental health awareness type segments and stuff like that. And we want you guys to come out and be a part of that and support our brother over here at Brown Sugar Cafe and Books as the artist curator. And we appreciate you guys. This has been another edition of the Reach Podcast Show. We'll be back next week with another person, because what we are doing is telling stories of the community and the people that are driving those stories. So again, shout out to Dr. P, Tiye Love, and Tiye.
And shout out to LeVar. I have to give him that, because again, the Reach is why I'm here right now. So I definitely have to give you that credit.
Appreciate it. Absolutely, man. So y'all stay tuned, stay locked, and again, catch us on the Mind Matters Podcast Show tonight. And we will see you guys as we talk about the psychology of a woman and how she is viewed, starting with childhood. Next week, it'll be the transition. And then lastly, we'll wrap up that series with motherhood and adulthood. We're not even sure what we're going to do next, but it's going to be very interesting. So you guys have a good time, and we appreciate you. Have a great day and a great weekend. Peace.
Bye.